They thought silence meant weakness. They thought calm meant surrender. They mistook patience for fear. They mistook your focus for confusion. You stayed quiet while they watched. You stayed steady while they doubted. You stayed building while they were guessing. And now something has shifted. The air feels different. The energy is heavier. Not because of noise, but because of certainty. You are no longer reacting. You are no longer chasing approval. You are no longer explaining yourself. That is the moment their comfort cracks. That is the moment control slips from their hands. Because the strongest move you ever made was growing without announcing it. Their game depended on your attention. Their power depended on your doubt. And now both are gone. Before this goes deeper, pause for a second. If this message hits your chest, if it feels like it is speaking directly to you, then show your support. Tap, like, so this message reaches someone who needs it. Subscribe if you want strength that sharpens you, not noise that drains you. And comment your moment. Comment the word focused or rising or unshaken. Because when you commit publicly, you lock something inside yourself. You remind yourself that this is real and you are not turning back. They are starting to feel it now, not through words, but through absence. You stopped explaining. You stopped defending. You stopped proving. That silence is loud to people who relied on your reactions. When you no longer respond, the mirror turns toward them. Confusion creeps in. Questions start looping. Why are you not bothered? Why are you not reacting? Why are you suddenly ahead? They thought the rules were fixed. They thought you would always play the same role. But growth rewrites rules without asking permission. You see, their game only worked when you were emotionally available to it, when you questioned yourself, when you hesitated, when you looked for validation. But something inside you hardened into clarity. Not anger, not bitterness, clarity. You realize you do not need to win arguments to win life. You do not need to expose anyone to rise above them. You simply need to outgrow the environment that kept you small. That realization is dangerous to people who stay the same. They expected you to break. They expected you to complain. They expected you to slow down. Instead, you went quiet and got precise. You moved with intention. You started choosing discipline over comfort, focus over drama, vision over opinion. And now every move you make feels heavier because it is backed by consistency. That is why they spiral. Not because you attack them, but because you no longer need them. Understand this deeply. People who lose control over you will always try to regain it through doubt, through subtle pressure, through reminders of your past. But you are no longer the version they remember. You are not fueled by impulse anymore. You are fueled by direction. When you stop reacting emotionally, people lose their leverage. When you stop seeking approval, people lose their grip. That is the end of the game. You did not change overnight. This was built in quiet mornings and late nights, in moments where quitting felt easier, in days where no one clapped. You kept showing up. You kept refining. You kept choosing growth even when it felt lonely. That loneliness became strength. That repetition became confidence. That discipline became identity. And identity cannot be shaken by opinion. They feel threatened not because you are loud, but because you are consistent. Consistency exposes excuses. Your progress highlights their stagnation. And instead of looking inward, they look at you, wondering how you escaped the cycle they accepted. That discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to keep going. You are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer distracted by small wins or small losses. You see the long path now. You move differently. You speak less. You observe more. And observation is power. Because when you understand patterns, you stop being surprised by behavior. Nothing shocks you anymore. And when nothing shocks you, nothing controls you. Their game required you to stay predictable, to stay emotional, to stay reactive. But you broke the pattern. You became disciplined. You became intentional. You became self-led. That shift is permanent. Once you see life through this lens, you cannot unsee it. Once you realize your value is not negotiable, you stop negotiating. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to become everything you know you can be. And that journey does not require permission. It does not require applause. It does not require agreement. It only requires commitment. The kind of commitment that shows up even when motivation fades. They will talk. They will wonder. They will assume. Let them. While they analyze, you are building. While they question, you are executing. While they replay the past, you are designing the future. That gap keeps widening, and distance is created not by speed, but by direction. This is not about revenge. This is about alignment. When your actions match your purpose, peace follows. And peace is unsettling to people who thrive on chaos. Your calm becomes intimidating. Your focus becomes undeniable. Your silence becomes final. Remember this: you do not need to announce victory. Growth announces itself. Progress speaks without sound. Results explain everything. And when the results arrive, no explanation is required. They feel it slipping. The influence, the impact, the illusion of control. Because you stepped into your own authority. And once you do that, the old dynamics collapse, the old roles dissolve, the old expectations die quietly. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. You are not distancing out of fear. You are distancing out of self-respect. That distinction matters, and it changes everything. Keep moving, keep refining, keep choosing the hard path when it aligns with your future. This version of you does not need validation. This version of you is already on schedule. Their game is actually over. Not because you defeated them, but because you stopped playing. Their game is actually over. Not because you made noise, not because you shouted louder, not because you sought to prove anything, but because you refused to be a part of it anymore. You stepped out of the shadows of manipulation, out of the currents that tried to drag you sideways, and you moved forward. Every decision you make now carries weight. Every action you take now echoes clarity, and that echo is deafening to anyone who depended on your distraction to feel powerful. They watch, they calculate, they hope, but it's too late. The pattern they relied on has ended. You've learned that energy is currency, and you've stopped spending it on chaos. You've learned that attention is power, and you've stopped giving it to those who only profit from your reaction. That is your real victory, the quiet, unseen victory that cannot be stolen, borrowed, or diminished. It is yours because it comes from within, and that inner victory cannot be undermined by gossip, doubt, or outside noise. Once you own that, the outside world loses leverage. Once you own that, their game ends quietly, but permanently. Every step you take now is strategic, intentional, and unavoidable. You do not rush. You do not panic. You do not bend. Your progress has rhythm. Your growth has direction. And that rhythm irritates them more than words ever could. They expected chaos, distraction, and emotional reaction, but instead they face precision, calm, and undeniable momentum. The power you hold is silent, but the effect is catastrophic to those who rely on your disruption. Do not let their confusion become your concern. Do not let their attempts to pull you back into old cycles disturb your focus. They may try subtle reminders of old patterns. They may appeal to habits you left behind. They may hope you will falter or react, but you will not. You know now that control comes from self-mastery, not confrontation. You know that clarity is your weapon, not argument. You know that your peace cannot be negotiated. You have become unstoppable because you stopped feeding the very systems that tried to weaken you. You stopped reacting emotionally to their manipulation. You stopped validating the illusion of their authority over your life. And in that silence, in that stillness, you built something no one can touch. You built resilience, you built focus, you built a future so aligned with your purpose that no external energy can shift it. Watch them try to regain what they lost. Watch them spin in circles, trying to make sense of a person who no longer exists in their rules. It is not your responsibility to guide them, explain to them, or apologize to them. Their spiral is their own. Your job is forward motion, not their comprehension. You do not stop for anyone who cannot understand growth. You do not slow for anyone who cannot match discipline. You do not argue with anyone who thrives on distraction. This is the ultimate form of power, the kind that does not need recognition, the kind that does not seek applause, the kind that grows quietly and relentlessly until the results are undeniable. They do not see it coming because they were never looking inward. They were never thinking beyond control. They were never building beyond influence, and that is why you rise, and that is why their game ends. You are becoming more than their expectations. You are becoming more than their judgment. You are becoming more than their assumptions. Every day that passes with your focus intact is a day their world loses footing. Every day you choose progress over reaction is a day their influence evaporates. Every choice to act with integrity and direction is a declaration. Your time, your energy, your growth are no longer negotiable. Remember, patience is power. Silence is power. Discipline is power. You have all three, and with them, the world no longer controls the narrative. You do. The old systems, the old games, the old manipulations, they collapse quietly in the background. The chaos they thrived on dies because you refuse to participate. And that quiet death of expectation is your loudest statement. Keep building, keep moving, keep growing. Let them spin, let them speculate, let them wonder. Their confusion is your confirmation. Their panic is your proof. Their doubts are irrelevant. What matters is that you continue with unwavering focus toward the life you are designing. Every choice, every action, every moment of restraint compounds into a force they cannot touch. The game is over because you stepped out of it, because you mastered yourself, because you refuse to allow chaos to dictate your steps. They are spiraling not because of attack, not because of confrontation, not because of noise, but because of your alignment, your discipline, and your calm. And once they realize it, there is no returning to control because you have never been under it. Your victory is not loud. It is not flashy. It does not need explanation. It exists quietly in your daily actions, your steadfast focus, and your unshakable sense of direction. And that quiet, unstoppable force is what ends the game. That quiet, unstoppable force is you. Every step you take forward is proof that growth cannot be contained. They watched the version of you that reacted, that worried, that sought validation. And now that version is gone, replaced by a presence that moves through life with clarity and unshakable intent. They feel it, not in words, but in the silence that surrounds your victories, in the calm that blankets your decisions, in the inevitability that you will not stop for anything that does not align with your vision. Their confusion grows because control is a game they once played, and now it is no longer available. Do not underestimate the power of quiet focus. It is a force that cannot be argued with, bargained over, or manipulated. The more they attempt to provoke, to unsettle, to regain influence, the more your calm becomes an immovable wall. They do not see that your victories are not built on confrontation, but on consistent discipline. They do not understand that your progress cannot be derailed by external noise, and that is the ultimate truth. They have nothing to hold on to because the part of you that belonged to their game is gone forever. You are becoming unstoppable because you have learned to value your own direction above approval, your own purpose above opinion, and your own growth above distraction. That alone will spiral those who depended on your reactions. They believed your attention was theirs to control. They believed your emotions were theirs to manipulate. They believed your focus would always be compromised by chaos. And now, they watch as you rise calmly, deliberately, relentlessly. That is terrifying to them because it cannot be undone. Every choice you make now strengthens the wall between you and the old cycle. Every habit you perfect, every discipline you reinforce, every focus you sharpen builds the version of yourself they cannot reach. They want you to stumble, to get lost in frustration, to act impulsively. And yet you do not. You are steady. You are deliberate. You are precise. And precision is power. And power that cannot be touched by chaos is invincible. Their game relied on patterns. Patterns you no longer follow. They thrived on predictability. Predictability you no longer provide. And that is why confusion spirals into panic, why doubt grows into fear, why their control evaporates. Because you are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer trapped by expectation. You are no longer a player in their story. You are the author of your own, and every sentence you write moves you further from the chaos they imagined you would remain in. Understand this. Your peace is your most intimidating weapon, not your words, not your actions, not your reactions. Peace, it cannot be bargained with. It cannot be threatened. It cannot be stolen. Peace signals mastery. It signals alignment. And once you embody that fully, the people who depended on your reaction cannot find a foothold. They are left spinning in the void of their own expectations. That void is where their spiral begins. They will try to interpret your growth as chance. They will try to justify it as luck. They will attempt to convince themselves that you were helped, favored, or fortunate. But deep down, they know. They know that nothing happened outside of your commitment, your discipline, your refusal to be consumed by distraction. And that realization is what unsettles them most. The understanding that their influence is no longer real, and that you built something entirely self-sustained. Your focus is not temporary. Your growth is not conditional. Your presence is not negotiable. That permanence is the final stage of their spiral. Every attempt to regain what they lost falls short. Every reminder of the past fails to shake you. Every assumption they make about control crumbles because control is no longer a concept that applies to you. You are not reacting. You are not defending. You are creating. And creation is beyond interference. They will continue to search for weaknesses. They will continue to hope for missteps. But strength like yours is forged quietly, patiently, and deliberately. It is not flashy. It is not dramatic. It does not demand attention. and that is why it is invincible. You do not need to announce your victories. You do not need to prove your worth. Results speak for themselves. And by the time they recognize what has happened, it will be irreversible. Every morning, every choice, every moment of commitment compounds. Discipline turns into momentum. Momentum turns into inevitability. And inevitability spirals into fear for those who cannot understand it. You are the storm that arrives silently. You are the power that never boasted. You are the presence that cannot be shaken. And with every passing day, their realization grows. Their game is over. Not because you fought them, but because you outgrew it entirely. You are untouchable now because you are self-led. Your clarity cannot be stolen. Your focus cannot be disrupted. Your energy cannot be diverted. And your vision cannot be obscured. That is what makes your rise unstoppable. That is what ensures that their spiral is permanent. They were playing a game with someone who existed for their control, but now you exist for your own, and that shift is irreversible. They are realizing, slowly but surely, that nothing they do can reach you anymore. They cannot pull you back into arguments, into doubt, into distraction. They cannot manipulate your focus or shift your energy. Every attempt they make only highlights the strength you have built quietly, the discipline you have forged in silence, and the clarity you now own. That is the ultimate power, to exist in alignment while everyone else still tries to chase control. And when they see that, panic rises, spirals, and intensifies. They are losing the game not because you attacked, but because you refuse to play. Your growth is not about proving anyone wrong. It is about proving yourself right. About showing yourself that you are capable of more than they could ever imagine. About embodying the truth that your life is not dictated by outside opinion, manipulation, or expectation. That clarity, so simple yet so powerful, destroys their influence more effectively than any confrontation ever could. And the calm, steady confidence that grows from that truth cannot be shaken. They will question everything, every choice you make, every move you take, every success you achieve. They will try to rewrite it as luck, coincidence, or accident. But you know the truth. You know the endless hours, the quiet sacrifices, the patience, the consistency, the focus, and the unwavering refusal to be distracted. And in that knowledge lies your real power. While they spiral in speculation, you rise in certainty. You are no longer reacting to their attempts to pull you down. You are no longer entertaining the distractions of people who thrive on drama. You are no longer bound by the weight of their expectations. And that detachment is what makes your growth unstoppable. Detachment is not weakness. It is clarity. It is freedom. And freedom is the final collapse of the game they once thought they controlled. Every choice to focus, to discipline, to act with intention compounds. You may not see it in a single day, a single moment, or a single action, but the accumulation is unstoppable. Every habit perfected, every small step taken, every moment spent resisting the pull of chaos builds a life so strong, so aligned, so inevitable that no one can interfere. And that inevitability is what makes their spiral permanent. Their frustration, their confusion, their attempts to regain influence, it is all fuel. Fuel that you do not consume. Fuel that powers nothing but their own panic. And while they spin in the void of their lost control, you walk forward in the light of your purpose. That difference between action aligned and action desperate is the chasm that separates you from anyone who once believed they could influence you. Do not Do not doubt yourself. Do not allow fleeting thoughts of past challenges or temporary setbacks to distract you. Growth is not linear. Power is not immediate. But the consistent choice to move forward, to rise above distraction, to refuse reaction, that is unstoppable. That is the force that collapses games quietly and permanently. That is the force that makes their attempts irrelevant. You will find that the more they try to regain control, the stronger you become. Every subtle push, every assumed manipulation, every silent hope they place on your misstep only sharpens your focus.